Age of Industry is a changeover event in the history of the world starting from 1760 until 1720 to 40s, affecting the world until the present time. It was a significant economical process as it improved the production efficiency with the help of new inventions just like the steam engine, whereas the production efficiency was based on agricultural production before revolution. When the change in the economic production by the Industrial Revolution is considered, the usage of new technologies which improved the productivity of the workers caused Industrial Revolution to quickly spread throughout the world from starting point, the Great Britain. Agriculture was an important sector that was the main occupation for the British population. It was significant in Great Britain as the main supplier of raw materials, which were the materials to be converted into a new and useful product by the help of the manufacturer. The reason behind was having a large amount of surplus of food production, representing the opportunity for the British population to invest in industries. As a natural outcome of this era, financially powerful social class started to invest in manufacture in order to gain vast amounts of income over the industrial works, and this fact will change and improve the economic system based on their large amount of raw materials as the result of the strong agricultural economy in Great Britain. The shifts of economic perspective of the country quickly spread at the whole world and became the keystone event to start the rise of capitalism and imperialism as the base of the economy from 19th century to 21st century in many countries.
His most lasting legacy may be the idea that a company should do more than just make a profit. It should make a positive difference in people's lives.
I think that one way that we see Henry Ford's legacy today is in giving back to our communities and make the world a better place for each and every person in that community to learn more. And he really wanted to give the average worker the best salary so they could
The most important aspects of his legacy to me personally are what he did outside of the business. He cared about people, and you can still see that around town and really around the world. Whether or not it was healthcare or education, he really believed that it was important to improve people's lives.
He really believed that his mission was to make people's lives better. And we saw lots of evidence of that. Certainly the $5 a day wage, the profit sharing, giving people of color opportunity, giving international executives opportunity. Those kinds of things really were at the time, very revolutionary. They simply weren't done. I think one of the most enduring legacies of Henry Ford was the way he treated people, including, and maybe most especially, his own employees.
I'm a trapper in the garbage pit. It does not tire me, but I have to trap without a light and I'm scared. I go out 4 and sometimes 3:30 in the morning, and I come out 5:30. I've never got to sleep, but sometimes I sing when I'm light, but not in the dark. I dare not to sing then. I don't like being in the pit. I'm very sleepy when I go out sometimes in the morning. Here is a true story of an 89 years old man and his work life in the past. Mahir Demiral, who is my grandfather, has born on 8th of April in 1931. We had a short interview.
Farming was the only work in the villages. There was no money earned. Workers could only save the day. I came to Istanbul to work in 1948 for my retirement in the future. I've washed dishes in the restaurant with a 15 lira a month salary. Salaries were very low and not enough, so I started looking for other jobs. I entered another restaurant with 25 liras per month. I learned how to cook in here. I had no place to sleep, so I became a cook in the apartment, where I also had a place to stay and sleep. Then I learned how to iron here and opened a dry cleaning and ironing shop. I worked in here 10 hours a day for 10 years with my 2 brothers. we started to earn 20 to 25 pounds daily. The job was very tiring because we were starting to work early in the morning and always standing. Let's say that if we were working for 10 hours, we did not sit for 10 hours at all. We had difficulty walking home after work because our legs were really tight. I always had to do the ironing with my right hand because the left hand was busy editing the ironed clothes. And since I always used my right hand while ironing, over time, the veins in my palm began to be pulled and I had curvature in my bones. Ironing was an important profession at the time. Still, despite the Industrial Revolution and the manufacture of steam machines, there was no steam iron. Mobile iron pieces were heated in gas stoves and printed on clothes. I was ironing about 20 shirts and 2 suits a day. The shops were mostly illuminated by the sunlight. After the sun was gone, we had a hard time seeing the surroundings. The shop was approximately 12 square meters. Everyone had their own stove, table and iron. It was not a very comfortable working environment. In 2018, the International Labour Organization reports that since the Industrial Revolution, there has been a downward trend in hours of work and an upward one in wages and productivity. While this may be the case for the near past, the beginning of the Industrial Revolution is probably forgotten to be told about. All the seemingly well-intentioned statements are appreciated. Yet an undeniable fact stands. Deindustrialization improves economic surplus, not the well-being of the society. To evaluate properly, let's go back to the well-known movie of Charlie Chaplin, which represents the daily life of an average industrial worker, modern times. Chaplin here is a representative of many who suffered from harsh working conditions, extremely long working hours, and repetitive work that disintegrates the person from the reality. One could argue that the movie may be over-exaggerating the situation, but the testimony gathered by Ashley's Mines Commission seems to verify that the conditions under which people had to work were even worse than the movie implied.
During the industrial age, Henry Ford system is developed for its use in the factories to increase the efficiency of work that was initially done by the physical power of workers. The system is defined as the manufacturing process in which parts were added in sequence until the final assembly was produced. The sequential and repetitive work Henry Ford system brought together with the long work hours to conduct their labor in harsh circumstances caused people working in the factories to asocialize themselves from their social environment and even their families. Therefore, as a result of the factory life and working conditions, in the age of industry is resulted with an impact on the psychological state of people negatively affected by their lives fully focused on work and profit of their bosses. Psychological state change tends to show off the parallel characteristics to alienation of people, which is most commonly defined as the isolation of humans from their environment and the people around them, resulting with a rejection of loved ones and societies and even their own emotions.
The claims of Karl Marx about alienation theory are proven to be accurate. The Industrial Revolution, despite its economic improvements such as an increased per capita income, caused many health-related problems, both psychologically and physiologically. Ever since the implementation of division of labor, workers were forced to keep up with the machinery that they were now specialized in terms of what they do. However, this caused a mechanic worker society that is alienated from itself and the reality. So what happened is obvious. While massive technological and economic development were done, the Industrial Revolution led to a psychological legacy of alienation by making people poorer in being psychologically well and having poorer health behaviors. Working in these conditions had higher neuroticism, lower extraversion, lower life satisfaction, and lower life expectancy. Higher neuroticism brought greater emotional instability, worrying and anger to people's characters. Lower extraversion brought less sociability and people with less outgoing and fun-oriented. With everything is set, it must be understood that pressure and intensity of a dominant industrial work type generates unexpected and long-term effects on the personality structure.